if you are interested at all, you may go visit them and see if that is what you would like to do. But I certainly do not blame you if you wish to stay here. You are not the only one that I have met that seems content to stay on the land, but on the mainland. But I myself wish to find. I myself. Okay, I think Isaac's rubbing off on me.
And Irene.
Yeah, there we go. I wish to find the rest of my family, if I may, and bereave.
Royak says, well, although it sounds nice to bring everyone together again, I don't know if I would go, but even though I would like to stay here, at the very least we could send word there if we find out anything else about bereave, or if anyone else comes through, we could get word to there if that would be helpful.
It may keep that to yourselves. However, I do not know why Bereave has betrayed us, but I do not wish to find out that another would do the same to our clan again.
They both kind of nod. They say, well, Royak says, I understand. We wouldn't want to put them in any danger from anybody else knowing. So we'll make sure if we send word that it's only to them. We don't speak of it to anyone else.
I know this will sound odd, but I was told that you would be here, and given the impression you might have something very important for me. I do not know if that is true or not, but is there anything else you are not telling me? Giving Court a lot of credit here.
Right. They sort of exchange a glance. Arvra says, no, I mean, I wish we knew more about what had happened since then, but we sort of distanced ourselves. It was a relief to see Royak here, at least someone I knew until I befriended some other people here, but we have both been here for more than a year now, and it's a different life, but it's a good one. And maybe that's selfish. We know there are some of us who are not so fortunate, but sometimes I also wonder how much one person can do, you know?
We do what we can. I do not feel the same as you. I have met people here that I like and people whom I care about, but I still wish to find my family. I wish to at least bring them together again if they wish. I do not care for the mainland very much. People are strange here.
Royak says, it did take some getting used to, but I don't know, this place grew on me. Especially the longer I stayed, the people are friendly, and I don't know, in the few other cities that I went to as I traveled about the mainland for a little while, it didn't seem like I got that same reception. It was nice to feel wanted here.
It is strange. There are so many different peoples on the mainland, but they do not seem to get along well. I don't understand why. It seems like if you are going to live with other people, you would be nicer to one another, but everyone seems to want to destroy one another here. It is very, very odd.
Arvroth kind of gives you a nod. She says, well, I do know what you mean. There were other places where people were not only less welcoming to us, but to each other. But then again, when you think about what happened on the island, I don't know if we can say we're that different either. Sometimes all it takes is one or two bad people to ruin an entire village.
not just a bad person. I, I do not understand why he would have done what he has done, but it does not make sense. There's no cause for anyone to do what he did. I do not understand, but I don't wish to understand. I just wish to find him. To start getting a little glowy as I talk about him more and more.
Well, you notice Arvaros's brow furrows. She says, I don't know that I much care what he did it for either, but I'm glad to hear there are people looking for him. He should pay for what he did.
If you hear any words, please, of him, please try to get a hold of me. I am traveling much, but oh god, there's a couple different people I could probably get a hold of. I'll tell him about what's the Crusader's name? Oh crap.
The main guy or the lower level guy that you?
The lower level guy is the guy that we hung out with quite. Actually, really, both seem like they would be
so
up to pass along information.
Derek Rothwell is the subordinate of sorts who you have had more interaction with. Haven't seen him in a bit, but
he's dead.
He's probably dead.
I'll tell them that if they can get a hold of get word to Rothwell will probably get word to me. I like that plan. I don't really know a good one otherwise. Not this far inland.
Right. Okay, that's easy enough if you let them know that.
Yeah. And I don't know where... Was Kava planning on staying? No, she's planning on traveling west. And I'll tell him about Kava and Hassan and where they're at in case they can get, speak to them at all. But I'm at a loss here because I feel like I was brought here for a reason. Now I'm getting nothing. Son of a bitch. Gods are tricky and mysterious. I am glad we have found each other, but I am very confused. I thought by coming and finding you two I would find answers, but I fear all I have is more questions.
I will say make another insight check.
Son of a bitch. Guess it's not an int check.
Right, so your odds are better than, something else.
Oh, big 3.
As you're sort of trying to piece together what this message from Cord might have meant, why this place in particular was one that you were led to, the pieces just don't seem to be adding up, but you're not entirely sure why. As you said, you're happy to see more of your clan in good health and free of any lingering issues from slavers or anybody else. Like they've done well for the two of them, but it's also puzzling because, at least for you, you're singularly driven to find out what happened and why and reunite your clan best you can. So it just doesn't quite jive with you right when there's other folks who seem to have moved on, but there's nothing really about them that seems disingenuous or off-putting. They seem to be engaging with you to the best of their ability, and they do genuinely seem content to be here.
All right.
Do any of you have any interest in going back to the islands?
They kind of look at each other and they say,
"Who's this guy?"
Well, there is that aspect, but they're sitting with Karash, so they figure you're not just nobody. Rayak says, "Not especially. I miss what home was, but it isn't that anymore. And I don't know. This feels like home to me now. Even though there are not as many of us. Just having Arvroth here helps, but I don't know, it just feels right to be here.
I stay quiet, but I'm seething underneath. I'm gonna have a conversation with Karash here soon.
Wow. All right, I'm going to how else, like they're on their lunch break, right?
Yeah. So they are going to have to wrap this up here in a moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna just like make small talk about whatever and then dismiss myself or dismiss us, I guess, because I'm very confused at this point.
Okay.
And yeah, say goodbyes and thank yous for showing up and pay for beer or whatever the hell it is they drink or eat.
As I say, they actually did not want anything to drink, but if you're going to spot them some food for their lunch, they'll happily oblige that. Mark off another gold.
Yeah.
And they expressed that they were happy to see you, that someone else has escaped and is doing well, and if you're ever back in the city, to look them up. But that's essentially the extent of the small talk end of the conversation, and they both quickly eat their meals and head back to work, barring anything else that you had for them last minute.
Confusion. I got nothing.
So, you guys find yourself now back in the bustling open door.
Well, that was disappointing, Karash, huh? And I slide my drink to him. I haven't touched it yet. As a gesture, like if he wants it.
I also haven't touched mine, so it's it's open.
I will drink mine or drink his and then pull Lennis over.
Okay.
Alcoholism's good for you, kids. I'm going. Yeah, I do not understand I could not have been told of these two for no reason. Cord would have not wasted his time.
We can.
I do not understand.
Follow them if you want. Lena can
Why?
go all cat form, and I can trail them, and maybe they're hiding information. Maybe there's more than meets the eye. After our exploits the last 2 weeks, I've learned to take nothing at face value.
I do not believe they would lie to me. I do not know that. Do we have the time to waste waiting and watching them?
Probably a bit. If you think it's worth it. If you don't, that's fine. But, Crash, if I may be so bold, you not believing one of your Dragonborn could lie to you is kind of what put you in this mess to begin with, correct?
I'm gonna straight glow. Like, I'm gonna get a little pissed. It'll pass quickly, but yeah.
Did I say something incorrect, though?
I do not disagree, but yes, we should at least check on them. There's something not right here.
How long ago did they leave now, though?
Yeah, a few minutes tops.
If
They're probably going back to work still.
Oh, okay. So maybe we can have a thing tonight then.
We should at least go check and see if they do in fact go back to work. Otherwise,
Karash, I want to run something by you. It's been bothering me. We've met a few Dragonborn now in our travels, and some of them, lots of them, seem content with just being displaced, being where they are now, and very few have any interest in going and reclaiming your homeland. What's the end game for this? Isn't that something that you want to reestablish the Dragonborn on the islands where you grew up? All of your history and culture is located?
I do, but if they do not wish to go, I do not know if trying to convince them is right.
Well, I just wonder if they need a galvanizing force. You know, a leader. Someone who has a plan and can convince them it's right. Because here's the truth. If all the Dragonborn are displaced, 1 or 2 in every location across the continent, what is the long-term viability of your race? Truly.
I had not thought of any of this. I wanted to be a fisherman and a gardener. What the hell, man?
I know, but if you look ahead, 3 or 4 generations, if this continues, are there any Dragonborn? Or are they starting to go extinct by that point now? If everyone's just fine with being apart from each other, and from what you told me, you were a clan. You were your identity was in your family and your togetherness.
Yes, everything has changed. I don't disagree. Maybe I will speak with them again before we leave then.
I just think maybe it's worth you thinking about is having a plan. And I was thinking we were going and collecting soldiers to retake the islands. It sounds like no one's in the island. They're just empty. Doesn't mean you can't all return home, start again, but maybe with better security this time or a contingency plan.
Maybe a couple of guards. I don't know. I don't disagree. I had not considered trying to convince them, though, if they do not wish to go. It does seem like it might be worth my time, at least trying.
Well, think about it. We have a small base of sorts over where David is in our house, and maybe we can start gathering the Dragonborn. Once we get enough, we can create a sojourn back to the islands and retake it, reestablish your clan. You're a proud individual, and maybe if we appeal to their pride, that could convince them to join us.
I get a real determined look on my face, and yes, we will try this. I will speak to them again before we go tonight.
Okay.
I gotta think of something to do how to do that, but.
Well, I wanted to come from you, but Lena and I are here to help.
Yes.
I appreciate that. The task just became a lot more significant than I considered. Holy crap.
I think you're capable of being the leader, Karash. I really do.
Thank you. We have some time before they will be done with work. Do we want to find something to do for the next few hours? Or?
You're in a brothel. Start taking care of that future generation right now.
I'm pretty sure Dragonborn
bartender.
lay eggs, so this is awkward.
My friend could use another, please.
Oh, God. little shot of courage.
Mm-hmm. Liquid courage. And Zerna happily complies. Slides another drink Karash's way.
Oh, God. Wow. I can't. Yeah, let's, I'm genuinely at a loss as to what to do for the next few hours, because at a minimum, I figure they're going to go work the rest of their day. We can find out how long they're going to be before they're off, and then send word to them to meet us at an actual tavern instead of a brothel.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Though we can be on the lookout for oddly short people inside the brothel while we're there, for at least a little bit.
Lena, I have a question.
Sure.
In case these sheep Dragonborn insist on continuing to be sheep.
Okay.
I say under my breath. I don't really want Crash to hear that part. Do you think maybe you could wait outside in cat form? Be ready to follow them in case they are hiding something and we want to learn more.
I can do that.
Okay. No need yet, but once it gets closer to them being off of their shift.
I don't see why not. I do think it's a little strange that almost every Dragonborn that we've met, or at least the ones I've met with you guys, they all seem very adamant that they're content. It doesn't seem like any of them want to go back home except for Karash, right? Is there anyone else?
Go ahead, actually, Crash.
My mom was making efforts, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. I don't think I was there for
yeah.
that.
And
so.
this is a meta thing because I was, but what were her efforts?
So that's just it. Like, she's the one who told me that they were set up on the they're at least trying to set up on the Alter Archipelago, the other islands.
If I had known you had such a hard time with this word, I would have named it something else.
Honestly, I've got really bad dry mouth today, which is not doing
So
me any
is that
favors.
That's fine.
her? So she's gathering them there to then journey back to the islands.
I don't even know if it was that. It was just like, hey, we can meet up here because the old place got overrun. Like, it didn't even sound like they were necessarily gunning for moving back home so much as just setting up anew. But
Well,
regardless,
that's a start, and maybe we can send them to the archipelago and gather
well, yeah,
there.
that's why
and-
I told them about it. But she was running around trying to. She was trying to gather info about the clan as well. So,
Yeah.
and some of them have been gathering at the Alter Archipelago.
Yeah, she at
So-
least, and from what you understood from her conversation, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, she at least, and at least some other people close to her, have been scouring the countryside looking for others who might be interested in reassembling at the archipelago. The impression you got from her, if I remember correctly, was that the Blue Isles were sort of wrecked in the process of Bereave's assault on the island. Not that they couldn't be rebuilt, but that some, at least in the clan, felt like too much blood had been spilled there, because there were several who were killed in the incursion and not just taken, that they didn't want to go back, that it had already been essentially ruined by Bereave's actions, which is why they were sort of setting up the archipelago instead. A similar place to live, off on the islands, kind of off on their own, but not one with the history of the Blue Isles.
Well, Crash, how do you feel personally? Do you feel like it's ruined, or do you want to return home?
I do not care the place so much as that my family is together again.
Which was essentially Kava's take, too.
Quick
Yeah.
question. Have you talked to Daybeth at all recently?
Not in a week and a half.
Almost 2 at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be worth writing her a letter explaining the situation, and maybe she wishes to rejoin the clan at large.
Well, she was in part saying she was hanging out. I guess I don't remember what her intentions were beyond hanging out at the house. Shit. I mean, yeah, we could do that at some point.
I think she was caring.
She was grateful for her rescue
Yeah.
and content to watch the house as you were gone, since you invited her to stay. She was not really expecting that, but she was certainly one who also was interested in reestablishing your old way of life, whether that was on the Blue Isles or elsewhere. She was definitely not content with her situation. She wants to get... I don't know if she actually expressly said this, but she is definitely determined to see things back to the way they were in one form or another.
Yeah, I thought that's what the case was, but I don't have my glasses on. I'm trying very hard to read right now, but it's not going well.
I'm just hearing excuse after excuse.
I know. It's, I can't talk, I can't read. I can't smell or the damn. My senses are failing me everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely try talking to those two at least again.
It might be worth letting Daybeth know if she
Yeah,
make her
we
choice.
send a letter home at least to let her know what has happened because I've forgotten to keep her updated.
I have an idea to pass the time. Lena, what can we do to figure out if your grandmother is spying on us? This is just the episode where Isaac is super blunt, I guess, to everyone.
I think I said last time that I was going to try and just like write a letter and send it back home. Because I think that's how I got in touch with her originally, right? I wrote a letter about my vision, and then she just kind of showed up. So,
Could work,
yeah.
but I would posit to you. If you were spying on someone and they wrote you a letter asking if you were spying on them, what would your response be?
Well, I wouldn't ask her if she was spying on me, first of all. I would phrase that a little better. What I want to know is if someone else is able to watch over me through the earrings as she can.
That's a good idea. Okay.
That's the angle I intend to take, but
Well,
I
let's
have
get
my-
writing.
I have my
No
paper in my
time
in my
like the
pen,
present.
yeah.
So you can use these 4 hours to
Yep.
write letters.
Dear
Yes.
Grandma.
And Karash, you
Yes.
actually can write a letter. It will take you a lot longer than Lena, but
and it will not be pretty, but it will get done.
yes.
I'll
Let's-
just write her, let her know about
I'll
everything.
write letters. I have quite a bit to inform that librarian on. Can all write letters? I mean, what else is a brothel for? Than group letter writing.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, something I'll suggest too, like just as while we're killing downtime, is that I think we left our wagon and horses and rug here in Timberbrook. Because I think we just jumped on a train and then like made a beeline for Waychester. So
Well, I'm glad we brought you along then, because my animal handling is non-existent.
Well, I wish Tessian was here. How viable is it to teleport horses? I would think it's fine. Chris, from what I know about teleportation, could we include that in the circle?
Hypothetically speaking, yes. The question is what response you're going to get from Waychester when you bring horses into their royal chambers.
also trying to bring
I'm
horses.
willing
Now,
to risk it.
The
but-
front end of the journey is easy because of where that location is. It's not exactly like in a public forum like some of the other teleportation circles are where you would get weird looks on that side. But the receiving end,
Actually, there is kind of an issue because isn't the teleportation circle in the basement of the house?
I was thinking the same thing.
horses
Come
don't
on,
really like
horses.
stairs.
Neither
Down
do
we go.
wagons, I would think.
Wagons are really going to have a hard time with the door frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking if nothing else, I could go get the rug, put it in the bag of holding.
Well, how... God, by train it was like 8 hours. How far is it by wagon? Like...
A
Days?
lot. Yeah.
Days, yeah.
Probably, I'd have to do the math and look at the map to get an exact mileage on this, but I think you're talking like a week.
Could we transport the horses and wagon on the train? Is that a thing?
You
Yeah.
could probably pay for a service like that.
Or
yeah.
I was going to even say, even if we hire someone to drive the wagon.
Yeah, hire some college student.
Yeah.
An intern, just tell him it'll be, good for his prospects later.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were going to Waychester anyways. They might as well drive your car.
So to speed this up, since it was supposed to be a montage, Chris, if I ask the bartender what we can do to transport our wagon and horses to Waychester, what would they tell me? The best, either would it be...
I sell booze and whores. What do you want from
I
me?
know. I'm not meant for large-scale transport issues. He suggests that a sort of courier service for bigger cargo like that on a train would probably run you a decent amount of gold, maybe 30 or 40 gold pieces to transport both a wagon of, that's not a huge wagon, but a wagon of a decent size and a couple of living creatures, but that it's not uncommon for people to do so. They're not just passenger trains. They also have room for cargo and other implements.
So, and then what about
sell
to
the horses.
hire someone? That would be easy. Find some hobo. Well, maybe someone a little more trustworthy. Is there like a guild branch here? Someone...
There is not.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, and if it takes them like 2 weeks, ideally, I feel like we'd probably want the wagon and the horses for our Conatus trip.
I wouldn't think it would be that, unless that's what Chris just said and I missed it. But
Just pay for the damn train. I've got money.
I also have gold that I will never use because I don't understand money, so I will.
it's very honest
Oh,
of you, Lef.
la-di-da, Miss Princess.
The horses are a bigger problem than the wagon for what it's worth. Bigger as in
Yeah, they do
more
have to
costly.
eat.
Well, we have 4 hours, right? So
Thereabouts, yeah.
why don't I just take care of it? You write your letter, and I'll go. I want to briefly carve our name into the side and then get it situated. So I'll just go do that. We'll each chip in 10 gold.
Okay.
And
Oh, God. Yeah, whatever it takes, I guess. To take the bag in case you need more than 30.
okay, I will.
Okay. You're able to set up accommodations easily enough. It is not a common request, but it's also not unheard of. And for the low price of 35 gold, you set up transport and making sure that somebody on the receiving end is aware of what's coming so the horses don't just sit there on the train or get carried off to the next destination. Or
Yeah.
But you're able to set up both for the horses. They have there's feed set up for them over the course of the trip because it is still 7-8 hours by train. Storage for the wagon near the back of the train as well.
I'm going to also carve our initials into the back, and I
Of the
get
horses?
a little sad. Yeah, of the horses. I'm actually gonna burn it into their skin.
Jesus.
And I get a little sad when I carve the G.
No.
But so what's the ETA? I know it's 7-8 hours, but when is this train leaving and when is it expected to arrive?
Depends on which one you want it to be on, but there's some through the evening, about every hour or so.
Yeah, just the
So
quickest one.
If
I
you're doing
anticipate
it when you're there, since this is now mid-afternoon, it'll probably get there 10-11 p.m.
Okay. We'll be back by then, I hope. If not, someone will go tell Tessian. Probably. Or steal him, whatever.
As part of the arrangement, and this is really your guys' call, but you could have Tessian be the one who picks them up.
Oh my god, we can talk now.
Well, not
Well.
over the earpieces.
Oh,
They
is it
go
too far?
You did
500
far.
feet, and you are 500
Oh.
miles.
If we had a handy
Tessian!
cleric in our party, we could do tending.
Damn piece of junk.
He's dead. But you could send word with the conductor or in
Okay.
advance.
Yeah, I was
to,
actually
Yeah.
thinking I
if
would
you'd
do
rather
That's a
that.
good
rather
idea.
than have somebody at the station could handle that for you, but if you want a more personal touch,
Yeah.
could do it that route too.
I'll just tell him if we're not there to receive, please find Tessian Black. He should be in the library or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Courtiers Academy, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
One or the other. You don't know yet. We haven't gone over your stuff. You just sit there.
So I will do that. I'll come back.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
Hour. About 15
We
minutes.
can even say 2 hours if you want with the carving and whatever. But
I guess that's true. What are you doing with the rug? Just gonna leave it in the cart?
I think I don't have a super big reason. Unless you guys would have told me to take it, I would have just left it in.
No, I mean, if we're bringing the wagon, it makes sense to leave it in
Yeah.
there. But
Okay.
if we weren't going to bring the wagon, I was going to suggest putting it in the
Yeah,
bag of
that
holding
was-
so
that
we
was a
had
good
it.
call.
But
I should see if
Yeah.
it would fit in the bag of holding.
I'm curious now. I brought it up and I was like, I don't
I
actually know if it can do that.
I
But
think it would, but there are some size limitations on the bag of holding. You can't just put like an elephant in there.
true.
But anyways, we're not doing it, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to look it up because I'm curious.
Yeah.
2 feet in diameter.
So
The
if you
rug?
roll it up, is it?
The space of the exterior of the bag.
Well, what's the inside space? Because you should be able to roll the rug up to easily fit within 2 feet.
4 feet
Right.
deep. So that's probably a no. Well,
Unless, like,
that big.
I mean, unless it folded. I mean, it might fold a little bit in there.
I'd have to do.
And as someone who, I've moved rugs before, big rugs, and you can get them into a foot. You can roll them. So
Yeah, I think it fits in the mouth diameter wise. The 4 feet deep is a question of how big it was. It's just close, and we'd have to really do some math to decide if the rug unfurled exceeds 64 cubic feet. I don't think so, but it's a lot more math than I wanted to think about. So, anyways, you're taking it on the wagon. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Sounds
I think
good.
it would actually fit.
Yeah.
But I hadn't considered it until now, and I'm like, I know there's, you can't just stick whatever. You can't be like, I'm going to put Timberbrook in the bag of holding. Because
Ooh, that'd be a good idea, though.
first of
That
all, you
would
would
be
kill
good.
a lot of people. And
No, the suffocation would kill them, not us.
oh, well, you're right. It's not
There
the
we
gun.
go.
It's the person with the gun.
We're not murderers. The bag is the murderer.
The bag's like, I killed so many people.
So when I go back, I'm gonna bust out my own parchment. I'm gonna look over Crash's shoulder. He's like, I'm hoping further than dear Dabeth, but
Over the span of 2 hours, Karash has constructed a short letter.
okay, I'm gonna edit it really quick.
There
How
are-
many errors do I find?
There are fewer backwards letters than the last time you tested him,
Okay.
but there are still a few. And to account for the fact that he hasn't had a lot of experience with writing, he's definitely using even shorter words than usual for the most part. But he has gotten across the general point just fine.
Crash, you've used more backwards letters than misspellings. That doesn't even make sense to me. How is this
I am-
happening?
Improving?
Sure, I like your optimism.
He's got a lot on his mind.
I'm gonna kind of edit some things there, and then I'm gonna start writing my own.
Okay. So, Karash, what do you put in your letter? I don't need a word for word like, Dearest Dabith, the battlefield has been fraught with danger. But, what?
I'll let her know about the Dragonborn that I've encountered, and I'm gonna give if it's possible, I'm going to tell her where the other Dragonborn are meeting without being explicit. Like, I don't know if there's like, hey, you know this island's chain because of blah blah blah. If that's possible, I don't even know if there's enough context because we didn't know each other in back at home. But if not, I'll be as inexplicit as possible. Will still trying very hard to make it clear. I don't know. Yeah. Fuck it.
Crash.
Yeah, I'll.
This is
What's up?
good, but it's very perfunctory. Maybe there's a couple lines you could compliment Daybeth. You know, the color of her scales, her eyes. You know, make it personal.
Stop shipping us. That's,
Am
yeah.
I shipping you, or have you shipped you, Karash? That's the real question.
I was not trying to send a letter flirting with David.
Okay, suit yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Karash does understand shipping because he spent 2 years on a boat. Okay, Lena, what's in your letter? What's in your wallet?
Okay. Well, I'll.
Yeah, don't need exact. I'm
Yeah.
just curious
No.
what-
Just generally, just let my grandmother know that we're doing well, and then we passed, not the prologue of the Conatus, but we're going underway to start it, and blah blah blah, and then I just kind of briefly say that. Because I don't want to go into the whole thing of we think there's a traitor in our group, but I do want to say that there's some information that is maybe leaked, and I know that the earrings allow her to scry on me and watch over me, and is there anyone else that she knows of who could do that as well, basically?
Okay. And Isaac, what's in your letter?
Just what we've been doing. Sorry, it's been a while. End it with a heavy heart. I want to let you know that one of our companions, blah blah blah, doesn't mean a lot to you, but it's been a hard time for the group. So
Okay. Duly noted. I'll jot those down later. I suppose, just to put it out there for the viewer, Mike has to go to work soon, so I think we'll have to cut it off here before you guys reconvene with the other Dragonborns, and before we even get to any of what Testian is doing on day one. Spoiler alert, he's dead. So we will leave off here after some intense letter writing. I know that's why everybody tunes in. So next time, we will finish up in Timberbrook. The rest of the party, besides Tessian, probably has business in Falstock coming up soon. And Tessian has to start trying to learn about an alternative to his cursed magic next time on the Anachroschism.